The 2023 season for the Milwaukee Brewers has ended. After a strong regular season in which they won 92 games and the NL Central, the season ended in disappointment as they were swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks in the wild card round. Now, it is a time for reflection, a time to look back and see how the team did as a whole and potentially look into the future for next season as well. So let's get started with our review of the starting pitchers for the Milwaukee Brewers. I'll be grading these players based on their performance in the 2023 regular season, as we did not get far enough in the playoffs. Many guys didn't get a chance for that to affect their grade, and as well as how they did compared to expectations as well factors into their grade. The grading scales is as follows, where A is like excellent, dominant play, B is for above expectations or being really, really good as usual, C is for average, D is for below average, and F is for completely screwing up the season and not doing well. So let's go ahead and get started with the ace of the team, Corbin Burnes. After having 3 really dominant seasons in a row from 2020 to 2022, where in 2 of those seasons he was a top 10 in Cy Young voting and winning it in 2021, Burnes wasn't as dominant as he was in those seasons this year. But he still had a really solid season for the crew, making the All-Star team and putting up some really, really good numbers. He was definitely the most consistent and healthiest member of this rotation, making a team-high 32 starts and logging in 193 and 2/3 innings, which also led the team. Overall for the season, Burnes finished with a 10-8 record, a 3.39 ERA, over 200 strikeouts, an ERA plus of 127, which means that he was 27% better than the league average starting pitcher, a FIP of 3.81, and a WHIP of 1.069, which led the National League. He also won Pitcher of the Month in July this season, where he went 4-1 with 47 strikeouts in 39 innings and was completely dominant. He also finished with a B WAR of 3.6. It'll be really, really interesting to see what happens with him this offseason, as he is in his last season of arbitration with the Brewers and most likely will not sign a long-term deal with Milwaukee due to how they handled arbitration last season. So he could be traded in the offseason if the price is right. I sure don't wish that, as he is the best and most consistent pitcher for the crew, and if we really want to compete next season, we need Corbin Burnes. Overall, I'll give Burnes a grade of B+, as he wasn't as dominant as he was in years past, but was still the best on the team, made the All-Star team, and was named Pitcher of the Month for the month of July. Freddie is a very interesting player to talk about in regard to his performance in the 2023 season, as it really looked like he would be one of the most disappointing players on the team. In his first 19 starts of the season, Peralta really struggled, having an ERA of 4.72 in 103 innings. He really struggled with giving it a long ball, having 18 home runs in those 19 starts. He still had a high number of strikeouts with 118, but overall was not the same guy that we knew. But right before August, something flipped in him as he was completely dominant the rest of the way. He continued his strikeout dominance with 92, went 6-2 in games he started, and had an ERA of 2.44 in 62 and 2/3 innings. He also only gave a batting average against of .185. He also reduced the long ball and only gave up 8 during those last 11 starts. Overall for the season, Peralta had a 12-10 record with 165.2 thirds innings pitched, 210 strikeouts, a 3.86 ERA, a 112 ERA plus, a FIP of 3.85, a WHIP of 1.117, and a B WAR of 2.0. He is locked up for the next 3 seasons and should continue to be a very solid contributor for this rotation. But for the 2023 season, I am giving Freddie a grade of B, as he really did struggle in the first half of the season, bringing down his grade. But his play down the stretch, with him winning Pitcher of the Month in August, really, really helped his grade there. Meant to be more of a depth minor leaguer for the Brewers, Ray actually had a lot of opportunities this season at the big league level due to a massive amount of injuries in the rotation this year. And he did pretty decently as the 5th starter. He wasn't amazing, but he was able to eat innings and keep the Brewers in the games that he started. Ray appeared in 26 games this season, starting in 22 of them with a 4.55 ERA across 124 and 2/3 innings pitched, went 6-6 with 110 strikeouts, an ERA plus of 95, a FIP of 4.90, a WHIP of 1.187, and had a B WAR of 0.7. Overall for the season, I am giving Colin a grade of C, as there really wasn't much expected of him this year, but he was able to put in some good work with the Brewers when they needed him to just eat up innings when the team was struggling with injuries. The 36-year-old Wade Miley turned into a pretty remarkable season this year with the Crew in his second stint with the team. He was really expected just to be a decent fifth starter for the year, but instead, he turned out to be the third best starting pitcher for the Crew this year. Miley started a total of 23 games this season. He did miss some time with a couple stints on the IL and was pretty effective in those games. In 120 and a third innings pitched, Miley posted a 9-4 record, a 3.14 ERA, 79 strikeouts, a 137 ERA plus, a whip of 1.139, a FIP of 4.69, and a B-WAR of 2.5. It'll be interesting to see if the Brewers would keep him for next season, as he has a mutual option for $10 million. And as we know, the Brewers don't really like spending money. But he had a really good season, will be 37 years old, so there might be some regression in the future for Wade Miley if he does remain for the Crew. But for the 2023 season, I'm giving Miley a grade of B+, as he really, really did outperform expectations this year, and he turned out to be a really good signing for the Brewers in the offseason. After a pretty disappointing 2022 season, Hauser had somewhat of a rebound season in 2023, as he was able to put up better numbers compared to the previous year. He still wasn't that great, but you take any improvement you can when it comes to your fourth and fifth starters. In 23 games, which 21 of them were starts, Hauser went 8-5 with a 4.12 ERA and 111 and a third innings pitched, 96 strikeouts, an ERA plus of 103, a FIP of 3.99, a WHIP of 1.392, and a B-WAR of 0.9. He is heading into his final season of arbitration with the Brewers, and I would imagine that they will be bringing him back as either the fifth starter in the rotation or as a good option out of the bullpen. Overall in 2023, I'm going to give Hauser a grade of C, as he did a decent job and did improve from his 2022 season. Signed in the middle of the season to be a stopgap with all the injuries the Brewers were dealing with in the rotation, Teheran did a pretty decent job for the Brewers before heading onto the injured list himself. The two-time All-Star appeared in 14 games, 11 of them starts for Milwaukee, going 3-5 with a 4.4 ERA across 71 and 2/3 innings pitched. He also had 50 strikeouts, an ERA plus of 98, a FIP of 4.93, and a B-WAR of 0.5. Overall, for his 2023 season, I'm giving Teheran a grade of C for basically just being signed off the street and be able to perform as decently as he did for Milwaukee. I was impressed. He most likely won't be back for the Crew, as he was DFA'd before the playoffs, but thank you, Julio. You came in when we needed you, and he played pretty well, so thank you. Another fantastic year for Woody that was completely ruined by injuries. It is really sad how much time he missed this past season due to shoulder injuries, because when he was on the mound this season, he was easily the most dominant pitcher on the Brewers staff, and one of the most dominant in the league. In his 11 starts, Woodruff went 5-1 with a 2.28 ERA in 67 innings pitched. He also had 74 strikeouts, an ERA plus of 189, a FIP of 3.60, a WHIP of 0.821, and a B-WAR of 2.4 in just 11 starts. Just imagine what those overall numbers could have been like if he was healthy this season and kept performing at that level. Sadly, this might have been the last we have seen him pitch for the Brewers, as right before the playoffs started, it was announced that he was out due to another shoulder injury, and he had surgery this offseason that could potentially keep him out for the entire 2024 season. This is also his last year of arbitration, as it is possible this is his last year for the Brewers. For this season, I cannot give him a grade higher than a B, even with his dominance, just due to the massive amount of time that he missed. But he was a fantastic pitcher when he was healthy, and I wish him a full recovery from his injury, because he is fantastic. What the heck happened this year? Lauer is coming off a back-to-back really solid season in 2021 and 2022, and just completely fell apart this year. It was a complete disaster, as he went 4-6 in his 10 appearances, with a 6.56 ERA and 46 and 2/3 innings pitched, 43 strikeouts, an ERA plus of 66, a FIP of 7.41, a WHIP of 1.671, and a B-WAR of -1. You know how hard it is to get a negative WAR score. Just a gigantic mess of a season for Lauer, whose future with the team is in jeopardy as he is in his last year of arbitration. For the 2023 season, I'm giving him a straight-up F, as he just completely forgot how to pitch and dealt with injuries, and it was just not really good. So for a recap of the overall grades for the starting pitching staff, Burns got a B+, Peralta got a B, Miley got a B+, Colin Ray got a C, Adrian Hauser got a C, Julio Teheran got a C, Brandon Woodruff got a B, Eric Lauer got an F, and if you average out all those scores, the overall grade is 2.32 or a C+. Eric Lauer's F really brought down this group as a whole, as overall they had a pretty successful season. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll be back next week with our either infielders or relief pitchers, depending on how I want to do it. Also, NFL content is going to keep coming out, and I appreciate you all. And I'll see you again very, very soon.